Okay, this is part one of my Mustang 2 front suspension. So, first thing I needed to establish was a ride height, and I'm going to be running a 28-inch tall front tire. Essentially, it's going to set the same height as an S10 pickup. So, that's that, and the rear. So the spindle center line is going to be at 14 inches because it's a 28-inch tall tire. So I built some casters and stuff, and it's pretty close to where the ride height is going to be. So with tire squat from the ground up to this axle center line is 14 inches. My frame is 3 3/4 by 2 1/4 inch thick. So 3 3/4. So this is the spindle's axle. This is the axle center line. Spindle center line is going to be right there. Snubber has to come off, and then that metal has to get trimmed back. So the hole that's in there, which is, let's see where my finger is. Okay, that's the spindle center line. My frame rails have already been boxed. I need to finish up and weld them up. Actually, they're partially boxed. I got to weld those up. Had a small block Chevy in it. They cut out part of the front cross member. I don't know how that's going to come into play, but we're going to adjust that. And so that is the beginning of the ride height. The old spring hangers are going to have to be cut off. There's also some brackets down here for a couple other things. There's the clutch pivot shaft, and then this is a mount that held the old cross member. So all that has to be cut off and trimmed off. So my ride height from the ground up to the bottom of the frame is going to be about 8.5, somewhere in there, for inches. So let me pause this, and I'll go inside and I'll go over the cross member. All right, now that we're back inside, it's warmer. Couple dimensions. The front frame height at the spindle center line is 3 3/4 inches. The front frame width, which is from the engine side to the outside of the frame, is 2 1/4 inches. And this is essentially what I'm going to be putting together. So I measured from the lower control arm center bolt. The front of the A-arm needs to be 9 1/4 inches up. The back's going to be 8 7/8, which will give you 3 degrees of anti-dive. So this is a universal cross member, and you get an idea how from here over the other side is 30 inches. And so I took 30 inches minus my inner frame width, which, what did I call that? Call it my frame. It's going to be, this is the inside of the frame, so from there over the other side is 27 3/8. Subtracted that from 30, divided it in half, so I come up to the dimension from my outer side of 30 inches into here. Scribed a vertical line on there, and this notch on the cross member is the spindle center line. And so since that is going to be the exact same as the bottom of my frame, I scribed a horizontal line there. So this bottom piece out here, this chunk over here, is going to have to be cut out, and you can see that portion on there where it needs to be cut out from there over there. So that'll be on the front. Then I measured the height from here up to the top of there, which was 3 3/4 inches up. I drew a horizontal line, marked that line, and then the outside of the frame, like I said, is 2 1/4 inches. So then I went 2 1/4 inches over and drew a vertical line. So this piece in here is all going to get cut out. These are going to mount onto the frame, something essentially like that. Essentially the frame's going to be in there like that. So that'll be the front. That'll cut out the notch cross member, and then the frame doesn't really slope down very much between the axle center line to where it goes down toward the firewall, or back toward the firewall. So I'm going to cut out this exact same notch, and then I will just trim this back piece that I have to cut out of here until my cross member at the ride height is horizontal to the ground. So that's that. And then also on the back of this, I'm going to measure from the lower control arm center line, go up 8 7/8, and then I will mark a line on here and over and down, essentially cutting out this chunk out of the back of the frame. The distance from here, from there up to there, the nice thing on the generic or universal cross member is actually 9 1/4 inches, and then from here to the top on the outside is 8 7/8, which is kind of nice. So clamp that on there, cut out. This is this chunk that's going to have to come out of the middle of the cross member. It's going to have to come out underneath this, and then this piece will come out, and then essentially the cross member will slide up from the bottom of the frame, and I'll weld along here and here along the inside of the frame and the bottom of the frame, and I'll take my top hats or spring hats, whatever you want to call them, and I'll weld across here and here on the frame that's going to be inside there. So that's pretty much how you use a universal cross member. You can ignore that purple mark there. I was just doing some checking. So that's pretty much it. This is not a Helix. It's not a Fat Man. It's not any of the other expensive ones. You can contact me if you want to know where I got it from. The welding on it is really pretty nice. I don't really care about the finish, but the welds are very, very nice. I may grind those down and make them look a little prettier, but who cares? But it's 3/16 steel, had the bushings, and then for the tubular arms, I had the gusset welded in there, and all the bushings are in there, so it's all ready to go. I get my rack, and then all of my spindles, A-arms, and all the other kind of stuff to go along with it. So hopefully I'll have that all cut out, and I'll be ready to put it all together here in the next week or so.